I seriously need to get a stand for, like, my phone, because filming this for, like, 30 minutes, just trying to find a good place to hold my phone, is torture every single time. Uh, Also, sorry that it took me a little bit later than usual. It's Thursday now. Normally I film these on Monday nights and release them on Monday nights because I don't do any editing, if that wasn't obvious. Um, Anyways, I was having trouble deciding what to make this video about. Which demographic I wanted to offend today, you know, because that's all my videos are, isn't it? That's not true. That's not true at all. What my videos are really about is trying to encourage people to take a look at their own lives and, what matters to them and how they can improve their lives just by keeping a more open mindset for most things. But what a lot of people don't want to hear is that they're wrong, or that they need to change something in their life, or that their perspective is wrong. And, when all of your videos are about your perspective and the things that you've gone through, and how just opening up about what is happening around you and how your perspective does make a difference to how successful you are in life, or the problems you have becoming not just a problem, but something that, you can just see as more of a blessing. And, yeah, you can offend a lot of people by saying that. And I don't just mean people from one side of the political spectrum or the other side. There's problems on both sides. Let's be completely real here. Not everyone is going to completely understand both sides or see where each side is coming from. That's just unrealistic. It's not possible. And when you're basically saying both sides are wrong and they need to look at the other side more clearly to really understand them, and you don't have to agree with them, you just have to look at their side more and contemplate what it is like from their perspective, you tend to cause problems. But yeah, it's still crazy to me. People are still watching that one particular YouTube video on my channel, and more people are getting to see it in their feeds. Sorry, my bad. I didn't think that anything on this channel would ever become popular for any reason or be seen by more than 100 people. So, yeah. Thanks for being here, though, I guess. One more person subscribed. Thanks. I'm sure it's because you watched the video that everyone is seeing right now. We're at a grand total of 14 now. Isn't that exciting? Probably not. Oh, gosh. Anyways, let's get to the topic of the video and what I'm deciding to offend people on today. I've talked about it before in probably like half my videos now. That's not true. I hate labels. I really, really dislike labels. For pretty much any reason, really. Oh, gosh. Yeah, I'm gonna hurt people's feelings with this one. I think it's really dumb that people identify as anything, really. And by that, I even mean, like, me going and saying I'm a male. That it has no value to anyone but doctors. It's important for them, but if someone likes my appearance, the way I look, the way I talk, and they're attracted to me because of that, that doesn't necessarily have to be attached to my gender. And if I occasionally do things that don't fit the typical male role, I just don't. I don't think we need to think of that as, oh, it's a product of you potentially wanting to explore your more feminine side. No, that's me. Just like how a lot of people will have traits and qualities where they enjoy doing one thing but not another, and you could enjoy like getting all dressed up and being fancy, and previously that was attached to more effeminate things, or the ultra rich. I know, it's kind of a shift between the two, huh? But I really think that's silly to just say, oh, it has to be attached to one role or anything like that. I really just think that by using labels, and this is, I want to preface all of this with, it's what I think. You can think something completely different else. Maybe because of something that happened in your life, it's easier to use a label to put yourself in a group where you might feel more safe and more protected. But that's probably going to do more damage in the long run, and it's going to limit your growth. That's what I think, at least. Once again, saying I think, I think. Um, you can say you're non-binary, or you feel like a man, or you feel like a woman, and if that's how you want to present yourself, go ahead. Please, seriously. I think it's amazing that in this day and age you can do some of those things, and even if you get judged for it, that's fine. It's about you. It's really about you and the person you are. It's not about what Joe Schmo thinks of you. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what other people think of you. It matters what you think about yourself. And labeling yourself is not conducive to that. So, I mean, it's hard to give examples of this because it's hard to see how it plays out in your own life without really starting it and trying it and then letting it roll for a while and seeing what happens. I suppose the best example of it right now is, by medical definition, I am on the spectrum, which means I have autism. And whatever. Who cares? Most people I know will never know unless I tell them this. And it's surprising to them because, I mean, I suppose I'm blessed and that it isn't a serious medical condition for me, and that it has pretty much only brought benefits to my life. Like, I spend more time and energy focusing on what people are saying to me and trying to really understand what they say to me rather than just rejecting it immediately. I'm a listener because of it. It's more difficult for me to talk, but when I talk, I say things that, matter more to me. It's something I have to really think about. I don't just spout crap just because it's on the top of my mind, which can be painful sometimes. It makes it really hard to have a normal human conversation with people because I'm so worried about what they will think about what I say. So, yeah, that does suck, huh? Sucks a lot, if you ask me. But it's not without its benefits. Like I said, it has been really, really good for my career, despite the fact that I have sucked with school my entire life because I didn't live in an environment that was conducive to me learning to get over that or learning how to structure my life so that I can be successful. I didn't have that. I saw a giant, giant mess. But hey, growing up, I knew. I mean, when you're different. You know when something doesn't feel right. But because I didn't have that label floating around me, and I didn't have that growing up, I didn't have this strong confirmation like, yeah, there's something wrong with the way you think compared to other people. I was never told that. I think it was when I turned 16, a little bit after that, where I'd finally gone and gotten diagnosed as having autism, or it was previously known as Asperger's, my specific condition. But now it's more on the spectrum because Asperger's is not a one-fits-all thing, and nor is autism. But because I didn't know that, it kind of gave me more opportunities. I never thought of myself as being too different from a normal person. I thought there was always that chance I would grow and suddenly blossom into some amazing, beautiful person someday. And I kind of did. That's the one thing I don't want to admit to the school therapist, because they were really, really horrible at their job, and they should have taken me more seriously and given me advice, but they just brushed it off, basically said they didn't have time for me. And through my own efforts, I turned into the person I am today. And just by being open-minded, I was able to get to that point. So it was helpful not to put that limitation on myself. And even when I had learned about it, it kind of just didn't feel like it mattered to me, because it doesn't. I was still me. I walked out of that room still me, and I still had people who liked me regardless of that. Even if I was and still am, kind of a weirdo. Because that's just who I am. But with that label, I would have restricted myself. I would have decided, hey, these are the symptoms for me, and here are the problems I cause. And I'm never going to be able to grow past those problems, because it's easier to improve the things you are good at, and not the things that you are bad at. But hey, I genuinely didn't know what I was bad at. I had an idea. But because and here's the other thing. Here's something you need to be really careful. When you read symptoms online about something, you need to be very careful not to create new symptoms that you never had before. So there are a lot of problems, or I shouldn't say problems. There are a lot of things associated with autism, like trouble speaking or sensory overload, that kind of whole thing. If I had been too focused on that, I may have developed a bigger issue with speaking, and I may have caused myself to have more sensory overload than I typically do, and my anxiety may have gotten worse. But because I hadn't invested myself into those symptoms, into my diagnosis, I kind of walked past it. I jumped on this other path that would not have been available if I was so focused on the one that was prescribed to me by the doctor. And that's weird to think about. That it's healthy to know what diagnoses you have, and what conditions you have, what is affecting your mind and your body. But that isn't the end of it. That isn't the end all be all. Just because someone tells you this is what condition you have, this is what you are, that doesn't mean you're limited to that. I mean, someone who feels like they're a man, regardless of what biological gender they were born with, I think that's kind of beautiful. I think it's amazing that you have such a strong emotional connection, such a strong psychological connection to feeling like a male. And that's amazing. That's great. I think that, well, I am never going to truly understand that, because I'm not connected to either gender. Not strongly, at least. Like I said, I'm a biological male. It's convenient for me. I'll always go by that. I'm not going to stray away from it, because I don't care either way. I would if I were to define myself, I would probably put myself in the non-binary category, but that's probably not who I really am. I don't know. It's something I've never really considered fully. But even if that's the case, even if not being connected to either gender or any particular clothing style or I don't I don't care about any of that. I would be limiting myself by saying I'm a male or I'm a female. I don't like any of it. Gosh. It's such a weird place to put yourself in. It to kind of try and disassociate and really consider the world from more than just your own perspective. You have to be able to put aside who you are or what you feel like or what limitations you've set aside or set on yourself. You have to put everything aside. You have to put all of your labels aside. You have to really try and experience the world in a greater capacity. And that won't be possible if you say, hey, I am a Republican. If you say I'm a Republican, you will slowly start to see the Democratic side is evil because that is what Republicans at their core are against. They're against Democrats. They don't align very well on the political spectrum, and it's the same with Democrats. If you go and say, "Hey, I'm a Democrat," eventually you will start to see Republicans as evil. And that's crazy to me how you can slowly start to push away some of the good ideas that each side has just because you say, I'm this one thing and I am going to associate with it and I'm not going to think any further than that. And even when I do think about it, it's going to be a constant thought in my head that if it came from the Democrats or if it came from the Republicans, it must be bad. Or if it came from my side, it must be good. That, no. Don't ever put yourself in that trap. Don't label yourself like that. You should always try and choose who is going to be the president of the country or the judge of your county or your state representative or whoever you can elect, whoever you have the choice to elect. If you live in a place where elections are common at all, like even, you should always look exactly at what their policies are, what they stand for, what they love, what they hate, because that's the important part. That is way, way more important than anything on either side. They could be a Republican or they could be a Democrat, but maybe that Democrat on the opposite side of that party that you identify with has more policies you agree with. Maybe that Republican on the opposite side has so many more things for you to look to than what you would typically see in your own party. You can't just decide this is the end all be all, Democrat or Republican. It's not true. Don't get stuck on labels. Or if, let's say you're in part of the LGBTQIA plus community, like I am, and yes, I suppose I am labeling myself by doing that. Sorry. Who gives a fuck? Honestly, sorry. I really, really stress myself out with this topic, if you can't tell. I don't like talking about it because I know it pisses people off, and oh, God, man. Oh my gosh. I hate this, honestly. I hate talking about stuff like this. It feels like I'm just putting myself on the cross for everyone to burn me alive. And I mean, everyone. No one likes this. No one likes this. But let's say you are part of a large community, like the LGBTQIA plus community, and as someone from that community, you could probably go and say, well, religion is really, really negative towards anyone in that community. And not true. There's a lot of problems with religion, and there's a lot of religious people who don't like people who are gay or don't like people who are trans. But you can't just say everyone is bad in that. You can't say all cops are bad. It doesn't matter what someone's profession is, or it doesn't matter what their sexual orientation is, or what their gender identity is. It doesn't matter where they are politically. None of that matters. That is my whole point. Just get to know people. If you just immediately cut someone out because they're religious, or because they identify with a certain political party, or because they're gay, like, that's insane to me. Or cutting someone out because they change genders. I don't get that. I really don't understand. Or, gosh, I haven't even talked about this at all. Skin color. Judging people because of their skin color, that's messed up. That's really messed up. Or because of the way they speak. It's mind-boggling to me. Or their disabilities. Wow. I think it's all so insane to judge people by those. Why go and label stuff like this? Why go and create more problems for yourself and other people by labeling yourself and then going and labeling other people and not looking past those labels and setting your whole identity up around labels, or assuming other people set their whole identities up around labels? It's so harmful and hurtful to everyone, honestly. Labels, they're helpful for doctors. That's it, man. That is it. Doctors need labels so that they can try and keep us healthy. Please, don't feel insulted if a doctor is using a label to describe physical aspects of your body. But at the same time, or don't lie to them about that either. At the same time, if you want to change those physical aspects of your body, your doctor needs to know that as well. Like, you can't just keep stuff from them. That just does not work. If you want the best out of life, you have to be honest with people about what you're feeling. If you don't want to have a dick anymore, hey, that's cool. Tell your doctor. Tell them. They will advise you on it. Some doctors are probably crazy. Some probably hate it. Find another resource. It's not the end of the world if one person tells you, you can't do this. It's goofy. It's all goofy. I hope I'm getting my point across, man. I hope you didn't just go to the 10-minute mark of the video and see all this crazy stuff I'm spouting and you go write a mean comment to me. Like, I hope you made it this far. I hope you care about stuff like this like I do. Or if you don't, if you think I'm an idiot, tell me why. Tell me what I'm missing. Shift my perspective. Because it's not a one-way street with these things. My perspective can be wrong. I'm not immune to that. I will fight for my perspective. Of course I will. I'm only human. Oh gosh, there's the labels again, Caleb. Just calm down. It's okay. Sometimes labels can be funny. That's what I like to use labels, okay? I like it when it's humorous. Otherwise, leave me alone. Leave me out of it, okay? Thanks. Oh gosh. I'll cut it here. I'll just keep it short. Labels suck. I don't like them. If you're using them, that's fine. That's okay. It's okay to be part of a community or to feel accepted in something. If you don't like them or you want to try not using them for a while to see where you get what changes in your life, that's cool too. Either way, don't hate someone for liking labels or hating labels. Because if you decide that someone is bad just because they use labels, then you are just as bad as they are. The people who are truly wonderful are people who have opinions and they can accept other people who have differing opinions from them. That's that's amazing. Don't forget that. All right. I'm out of here. See you guys. Bye.